Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs, all our fans of summer radio entrepreneur stories. My name is Jeffrey Davis. I'm chairman of the board of Mage LLC, management consulting firm in the Boston area. Been in existence since 1980. It's amazing how time flies. And every week I like to stay up to date on any personnel, human resource issues. And to do that, I like to have my Marc Z Moment. So we like to speak with Marc Zwetschgenbaum, president of Marc Z Legal Staffing. Welcome back, Marc.
Hi, Jeff. Great to be here. Great to talk about topical subjects and particularly with yourself. Great to see you.
Thank you. And Marc, I've particularly enjoyed our last two interviews. I think they were very important for entrepreneurs. So I'll say this before I end on Marc Z and make sure that you're in compliance and optimizing human resource issues. I check out Marc on all our social media sites because they were very important topics.
Well, thank you. There's so many key subjects, but one subject that we're talking about that continually changes is the remote versus in office. And it's been part of so many situations, not only lately, that it's become top of mind, Jeff. For example, before I went into this meeting, one particular deal our office is working on is you have a candidate employee who has a certain commute, and they want to work at this particular company, and the company really wants them in at least 4 days a week, and they really can only do 1 or 2 days a week. And both the company and the candidate employee are really, it's a very good match, and the employee feels that that they can be productive and can get the work done, and the employee that they need to have them in. They'll be flexible, but for long term, they need to have them in because just in terms of whether it's 4 days or with 1 day hybrid, because of just the kind of work that needs to be done in the collaboration. And we're just seeing it more and more, trying to come to a strategic compromise, or companies and firms discussing, well, we need people to come back now to the office 4 days a week versus 2 days of work versus 3 days a week and remote because of productivity. And it really does make a difference. I see it in our office. It's that balance that employers and employees have to strategically find. Otherwise, it's not going to work for either of them.
I can bring that home. As you know, we have a producer, and when we recruited the producer, there were discussions around remote versus office and the need or the desire on the part of our producer to work remote. Now, I have my oldest child is married, and his wife took a job because it was remote, and he took a job because it was a flex remote with a lot of remote. And I know that millennials now, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for jobs that allow them to build their families and their lives and allow them to save, let's say, 10, 12 hours a week of commuting. They don't want to spend their time commuting. They don't mind spending it working, but they don't want to waste their time sitting in traffic. And, the baby boomers I know too, they've gotten tired of all the commuting, and they too would like to optimize their time. We all experienced that during COVID, where we didn't lose productivity, even though we weren't in the office.
Right, but it's a balance. And what's funny is there are some employees that will ask how many days a week in the office, and we say this opportunity is 5 days a week in the office. They go, thank goodness, I'm tired of having remote or hybrid. I want to be in the office. So it is a balance. I mean, having people in the office to get to know each other, to get mentored, to have that collaboration is very, very important. And you do miss things by not being in the office together. That said, coming up with a formula that will work for the employee that gives that employee enough flexibility that they can work remotely, but at the same time be in the office to get to know the people and to build that bonding and build that that whole working culture together, positivity and success together. So but I agree with you. Everything you say, it does. That's the first thing you hear. The commute. By the time I get into the office, it'd be better for me to just be from work from here. Just in terms of productivity, commute. But what I'm saying is, it's now become a point where it's got to be. It's a whole strategy situation.
I remember my original partner, Mark, and he was quite a out of the box innovator. He was a famous organizational and family therapist. And it was the early 1980s. I had come out of, a Fortune 100 company, and I wanted to track everybody morning to night on timesheets. And he looked at me and he said, "Are you really measuring the right thing, Jeffrey, when you're measuring the time? Or do you want to really measure their output?" And I looked at him like he was speaking to me in another language. It was so alien to me to think in terms of measuring output versus measuring time at a chair. And now it just seems so logical. I talk to clients all the time: measure the output, measure the goals, measure them on the goals. What do you care about where they're sitting, what they're wearing? It's the goals.
Correct. It's a balance. It's when you're absolutely, it's measuring the goals, it's reaching the goals, it's the collaboration, and it's finding that type of work arrangement that's going to work for both the employer and employee. And you get enough in-person time and then enough flexibility.
So I'll tell you one more story I heard on your favorite place, a tennis court, last week from an ex-large bank executive. And he told me when he first got into banking, there was a bank he worked for in which every employee was required, as they came into the office, to walk around the office and say good morning to everybody. And no one wanted to be the last one in, because then everybody would know, because he didn't want to be the last one saying good morning to everybody when everybody was there. And he said, it really worked to get us all in early, but you can't do that anymore. You can't force people to say good morning to everyone anymore. But the world has changed, and you got to change with it, and you got to understand how to make your organization productive in today's world. That's the key.
Correct. On both employers and employees, understanding what works to be successful.
Well, Mark, I always appreciate when you come on, and I think your tips are very relevant and time relevant. Why don't you tell people how people can find you? Because I know I go online every week and I'm re-reviewing some of the things you've said to us.
Well, thank you, Jeff. It's always beneficial to be part of the show, and but I really like watching and reviewing what the content that the other guests that you have on the show, which is wonderful.
And where can we find you?
First of all, on the wonderful Radio Entrepreneurs website, radioentrepreneurs.com, Google Marc Z, M-A-R-C, and the letter Z, marczlegal.com, M-A-R-C at marczlegal.com, Marc and marczlegal.com, and 617-338-1300.
And I can't wait till next week so I can talk to Marc Z again for my next Marc Z Moment.
Thank you.